Let me get to my guest now, Hamza Galiwango. Hamza is Director Land Development Division, Uganda Investment Authority. They are part of the organizers. Good morning, Hamza.
Good morning, Joel. Thank you for hosting us on this show.
All right, thank you for being here. We also have with us Zheng Biao. He is, he's got a plethora of titles. He's Acting Country Manager, China Communications Construction Company Limited. He's also spokesperson of the Chinese Enterprises Chamber of Commerce. They are part of the organizers. It's been put together by Uganda Investment Authority and the Chinese Enterprises Chamber of Commerce. But more importantly, for this morning, he's a part of the organizing team for this forum. 你好，
你好，早上好。
早上好。
Yeah, what's the here?
What's the
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You've been here for about 5 years, so
yes.
Clearly you've learned a bit of Luganda.
Yeah.
All right, we're happy to have you here. Let me begin with you, Hamza. So Uganda Investment Authority is a part of this. What are we looking forward to gaining from this? Especially you folks are meant to make sure investors come here so that we create jobs for our people.
Yeah. Thank you, Joel. China has been a big foreign direct investor in Uganda. We have huge bilateral cooperations with the Chinese government. The forum today is meant to accelerate the investment relationship between Chinese businessmen and Ugandan businessmen. You know, China has already been investing in this economy in several areas, in agro-processing, infrastructure development. We now want them to accelerate that level of investment, create hybrid companies between Ugandans and Chinese, and actually improve our economic environment by learning from China, our big brothers.
Zheng, I know that China is doing a lot of business with Africa,
yes,
and in particular Uganda. Why do folks find Uganda and Africa, for that matter, fertile ground for business? What's so attractive about us?
Uganda, Uganda is a very nice country and is a God-blessed country. Has a lot of natural resources, and the people in Uganda are very friendly, and also the political situation is very steady, which is attractive to the investors. Not only from China, I believe from all over the world. Chinese companies in Uganda, they have conducted several major projects in Uganda. For example, the Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway, which cost around $476 million, and Isimba Hydropower Station, Karuma Power Station, and Entebbe International Airport Expansion and Upgrading Project. And this infrastructure development are very important to a country's economic growth. So Chinese companies would love to make more contribution to the development of Uganda and for better living standards for the people, for this community.
Hamza, when you look at the unemployment figures of this country, they're alarming, regardless of whichever it is that you quote. And you folks in the Uganda Investment Authority have been on the spotlight. You know, we require that you create jobs, and we keep hounding you about it. What challenges are you encountering? I know there's been some progress made, but there are still challenges that are sticking out like a sore thumb. What are those, and how are we dealing with them?
I think the biggest challenge in employment creation has been the infrastructure. Simply because when we attract investors, they find it difficult to move about their products, both inputs and their outputs. We are happy that government has taken the right direction with several infrastructure projects that Mr. Zheng has been talking about. There was a challenge of insufficient power. Most industries were facing this challenge, but with now the power projects coming up, Karuma, Isimba, we are going to see more industries coming in. But of course, there is also that challenge on the agriculture side, the input side, because industries cannot function in isolation without sufficient input from the backside. Agriculture needs to be reorganized to give in sufficient amounts of input. The mineral sector needs to reorganize themselves. I mean, when you go to Karamoja, you find people mining gold with the hand hoe. This is not the way for sustainable industrialization. So we are looking at all those challenges, reorganizing our backyard in cooperation with the attracting investors like the Chinese that we are talking to today, so that we complete the cycle and move forward.
Jing, your president committed 10 billion US dollars, 60 billion actually,
yes,
dollars.
6 billion, yeah.
To the China-Africa 10 cooperation plans. Talk to us about those plans. What plans are those?
See, as for these 10 major cooperation projects, that is initiated by Chinese President Xi Jinping in Johannesburg Summit 2015, which is held in December. You know, to build a China-Africa comprehensive strategic and cooperative partnership, China will implement 10 cooperation plans with Africa in the next 3 years, guided by the principle of government guidance, business being the major actors, market operation and win-win cooperation. These plans aimed at addressing 3 bottleneck issues holding back Africa's development, namely inadequate infrastructure, lack of professional and skilled personnel, and funding shortage, accelerating Africa's industrialization and agricultural modernization, and achieving sustainable self-development. So I would like to give you a brief of these 10 major projects.
So you said one, let's first list them. You said one is infrastructure?
Yes.
What are the others?
First, let me give you this. First, that is the industrialization. That is based Uganda's Vision 2040, that Uganda will take the path of industrialization. And you see that Chinese government will also put that to implement China-Africa industrialization plan. And secondly, that we will implement China-Africa agricultural modernization plan. Agricultural, all of us that are aware that Africa is most of the countries are agricultural country, so that we want to implement this agricultural modernization plan. Thirdly, that is implement China-Africa infrastructure plan, and fourth, that is a financial plan, and fifth is China-Africa green development plan. Sixth, we will implement China-Africa trade and investment facilitation plan, and seventh we come to the poverty reduction plan. Eighth, that is for the public health plan, and for ninth, that is for cultural and people-to-people plan, and the last is for peace and security plan. So for the 10 plans, we can see that all the areas are very key areas in the development of Africa continent, and we believe that with the assistance of Chinese government and also the devotion of Chinese companies, we believe that we can build a better and brighter future for Africa continent.
All right, I'll get back to you in a bit for some of those.
Okay.
Hamza, we have about 350 Chinese companies here in Uganda.
Yeah.
Too little or too much or just enough? What impact have these had on our country?
No, I think I'm saying they are still too little. We are looking at doubling this figure, but more importantly, directing them to the strategic areas of this economy. And we have about 5 major areas. The first being agro-processing, because we have a niche in the agriculture sector, and Mr. Zeng here has mentioned the agriculture modernization. We want to attract them more in the oil and gas sector. Already some companies, Chinese companies, are in the oil and gas sector. We want to attract them in the ICT sector. China is one of the major ICT players in this world. So we want them to reorient these efforts into those priority sectors, so that we move towards Vision 2040 as we have planned. They have, of course, established a few industries here, plus some other trading partners who are now transforming into investment partners. But we think there is much more that we can learn from them. There are 3 major areas why we are cooperating with the Chinese in this aspect. The first is, of course, employment generation. The 350 have already created over 50,000 jobs in Uganda. We want to multiply this number. As you rightly said, the employment is high on the agenda. Skills development, we want them to show us how things have been done, so that we don't reinvent the wheel. The Chinese have expertise in doing so many things in this world. But lastly, we also want them to contribute to our revenue, not in aid alone, but also in taxes when they operate. So we think the picture is still bright ahead, and we are moving in the right direction.
Jeng, there have been some concerns. Of course, on the one side, China is doing incredible things here, aid, the many companies that we are talking about, and so on and so forth. But there have been some concerns that for a number of these companies, when they come here, they'll ferry many of their employees right from China, and very few Ugandans will be taken up. And that means, of course, money gets repatriated to the other side. How do we improve that so that it's a 50-50 kind of, sharing, if you like?
Joy, you see, there is an ancient saying goes like that in China. Instead of giving a fish, we would like to teach you how to fish. Actually, for these Chinese companies of this chamber in Uganda, we have so far we have recruited over around 20,000 Uganda employees. Some of them they are in a managerial level. Of course, some are the very technicians. So normally, for these Chinese companies, we would like to recruit more local employees. First, if you save the cost of the company, and secondly, and we to do more contribution to the unemployment rate. For this, because some positions maybe they are very technical, need a lot of skills. So maybe first they become with some Chinese, they have to teach Uganda how to operate the machine, how to learn, teach them how to learn the skills, and then gradually, I think the aim of those Chinese companies and all the foreign companies that to recruit more Uganda people. That's the aim.
Hamza, over the past 5 years, China's total infrastructure investment in Uganda has been at about $6 billion US. Bilateral trade has been at 3.161 billion US dollars. Some would say, that's quite a bit of money, but we need more, because this would mean that we are getting the dollars here in. How do we improve that? How do we make sure these figures here increase, double, triple, whatever the case might be?
The figures will definitely increase with the bilateral cooperation agreements that have been signed between the government of China and the government of Uganda. We are improving the economic environment here. We have started several incentives, tax holidays, tax cuts for export-oriented companies, especially from China, and we think that more are going to come into this economy in the strategic sectors that we mentioned. The political environment is good, and this is what attracts the businesses to come down here to trade. And the biggest concept now, we are talking about hybrid companies. We want them to sustainably work together with the Ugandan companies, so that you have technology transfer coming down. So we think the environment now is ready and ripe with the economic figures that we do have, the political landscape, and the several projects that we have talked about. We are doing targeted marketing. We are now moving as a government outside to China, talking to the big guys that we know in the industries and giving them directed incentives to each of these, so that they do come. So we think the landscape is actually promising.
Jeng, how are you people helping us, say from your Chamber of Commerce, helping us as a country to sieve out? Because you see, for every good there is bad. There's good Chinese companies here that are doing good business and so on, but then there's the fake companies and those that are doing a lackluster job, some of them, actually in court and so on. Are you helping our government? Are you helping us as a country to sieve, so that, because everybody thinks Chinese companies and products are fake, and yet, truth be told, they are the good ones, so how are you helping the situation to sieve out and either notify or that kind of thing, that, by the way, this one here is blacklisted, this one don't deal with, these are the good ones to deal with?
You see, Joy, let me give you a brief introduction of this Chinese Enterprises Chamber of Commerce. This Chinese Enterprises Chamber of Commerce established as a non-profit organization. The numbers so far, we have over 100 members, covering in the field of contracting, engineering, real estate, hotels, services, and industries, so on. So these companies, they include not only state-owned companies, which are like CCCC, China Communication Construction Company, Shanghai Hydro, and Sinopec, Huawei. Those companies, they are, what you are talking about? You are talking about that is they are the global 500 Fortune companies make investment in Uganda, and also some successful private sectors like Tiantang Group. They have a industrial park which create a lot of posts for the employees, and also stimulate the chains of products. And also they like Hassins Group, the Hassins Industrial Park and the Liaosheng Industrial Park, to mention but a few. And as for those goods that you are talking about, you know, the goods, they have good qualities and bad qualities. That is the choice of the people that depends on their purchasing power. See, in Uganda we have excellent products, good quality, right? In the shops, in family shops, depends on the purchasing power. If we have the money that we can go to buy the good quality, and then depends on my pocket money, you know. But now, what I'm saying that, you know, for the industry, for the Chinese companies who they make investment in the industrial park, which means that those products are made in Uganda, and definitely will reduce the cost of those products. And secondly, that the Chinese companies are dedicated to the growth of the economy in Uganda. So when the economy becomes growing, and the people have a job, and also the products are made in Uganda, and the prices are very cheap, so that I think this is very harmonious and a very happy life that in Uganda.
All right, we need to end this segment, but let's wrap it up this way. Hamza, so what do we expect today? What's going to happen? I know that there will be a plethora of speeches, experts talking about different things. What's going to happen today?
Today we are looking at more cooperation between the Chinese businesses and Ugandans. We invited both the Ugandan businessmen and the Chinese, and they are going to discuss in two areas where they can cooperate and accelerate. And then there will be government to government. His Excellency the Vice President is here to officiate the ceremony. We shall sign some bilateral cooperations between government of Uganda and the Chinese government. So we expect that at the end of the day, we are going to have a platform for acceleration of trade and investment between the two governments for the good of this economy.
All right, we're looking forward to those